Very good morning to all of you from Perth. आज match day number 3 for the Indian cricket team, and they are up against formidable opposition in South Africa. A dangerous looking side. Many have picked South Africa as one of the dark horses for this tournament. That's primarily because of the kind of resources that they have in their camp. We'll talk about the weather, the pitch conditions, what can you expect, what would be the playing 11 like, all of that I'll try and discuss. But first, I know all of you are eagerly waiting to know how Perth is today. Yesterday was a dull and gloomy day with grey skies on top, and it was raining on and off throughout the day. Today it's very different. Marut, thank you so much. Good morning to you as well. Today it's nice, bright and sunny. There you can see clear skies, bright sun is shining, clear weather. It's pretty empty right now, the roads, because it's Sunday morning. Everyone must be out on a Saturday enjoying the weekend. So right now it's pretty dead on the streets. But by the time evening comes along, expect a lot of energy here at Perth, because I have heard that the game at the Optus Stadium, and it's a big stadium, it can accommodate, close to what MCG can. It's as big as that. The game at the Optus Stadium is sold out. It's a big draw. It's a big game. So we met yesterday, people have traveled from the US, from India, lots from Perth, and lots from other parts of Australia, that is from Sydney, Adelaide, people have traveled to watch this big encounter, India-South Africa. In that sense, it's as big as India-Pakistan in terms of a close contest. So the good news is weather is very good right now. So let me quickly give you the weather update through the day. It's expected to be sunny, but it's very cold. I'm wearing a jacket because it's very, very cold right now here. It is supposed to be the start of summer, but it's cold. It's chilly, very cold winds. So through the day, there is rain expected around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But that's a very short rainy spell. It's a short spell. The day will be very cold through the day. It'll be like 9 degrees lowest, at about 10, 12 degree. Good morning to you, Arun. I'll answer all of those questions. Let me quickly give you the updates for the weather. So it's going to be very chilly, cold, but there's only that one little spell of rain around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That is going to be about 10:30 or so in the morning India time. But that's just for a brief while. And after that rain spell goes, it's expected not to rain. So the first game here starts 3 o'clock. So 1 o'clock local time, there's going to be some rain spell. 3 o'clock is when the first game starts. That's Pakistan, Netherlands. I expect even that game to start on time, and even that game to be full 40 overs. And later in the day, when India and South Africa come later in the evening, then it's expected to be clear weather anyway, just 4% chance of rain. So you can expect a full 40 over match today between India and South Africa. And in that sense, India have been very lucky when it comes to the weather, because other teams have suffered. Australia have suffered, England have suffered, South Africa themselves have suffered because of the rain. They've had to split points. On that account, India are very lucky, because they got the full game versus Pakistan, they got the full game versus Netherlands, and today, hopefully, India is going to get a full game versus South Africa. At least that is what the weather updates are telling us. In terms of what should the Indian team be doing, I know there's a lot of talk about, fast pitch, Perth's bouncy track, all of that, and I understand that it is, but see, this entire reputation of Perth being the scariest, fastest pitches was built over the years, primarily because of the old Waka Stadium. That definitely had the fastest and the bounciest track in the world. This Optus Stadium is not quite that intimidating for the batsman. Yes, the pitch for the Optus Stadium is also prepared at the Waka. They prepare the pitch and then drop it to the Optus. So they are all drop-in pitches being used at the Optus. But it still doesn't have that kind of venom, that kind of bite that we used to see at the Waka. So yes, it'll help the fast bowlers, but not to that extent that we used to expect in Perth. So that's the first thing. The average score in T20 internationals here at Optus has been 143, which tells you that it's a low scoring ground. That means bowlers do get a lot of purchase, especially fast bowlers. But I must also remind you that just about 3 weeks ago, Australia-England played a T20 match here, at the Optus Stadium, and 200 runs were scored. That's the only time I believe 200 have been scored at the Optus Stadium. So it can also be a big scoring ground. It may not necessarily be a low scoring encounter. Yes, the last game between Pakistan and Zimbabwe was a low scoring encounter, but that had a lot to do with the kind of approach, batting approach that the two teams had. I think India, South Africa, much better batting attack. And yes, bowling attacks are also good, but better batting attacks. So I expect that score to be pushed in the 150-60 region, at least, even probably more than that. We'll have to wait and watch. Also, as the Indian batting coach Vikram Rathore pointed out yesterday, that people keep saying tough conditions, but Melbourne was tougher for batting, mainly because Melbourne had more seaming conditions. Here, it's a good even bounce pitch, and the ball really comes onto the bat, so batsmen actually enjoy batting here. So this can still be a big scoring ground. Yes, not the 200 sort of conditions are not available at the moment. You may not get that, but I think Indian batsmen may enjoy batting here slightly more than the conditions that were offered in Melbourne. So what is it that the team is going to be going in with? I think the Indian playing 11, there are a few question marks over KL Rahul. A lot of people think that maybe Rishabh Pant might come in instead of KL Rahul. But as far as my knowledge goes and my understanding, the team management is fully backing KL Rahul at the moment. So I see no change at the top. Even if he was not to get a few runs in versus South Africa, I do not see a scenario where KL Rahul will be out of the 11. So that's not happening at the moment. So expect KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma to open. The team management is going to be backing them. In that case, no place for Rishabh because Dinesh Karthik is going to be a wicket-keeper batsman. Lately, I've noticed that he's been putting in a lot of effort batting against the spinners. That's his Achilles heel because he starts off really well against the fast bowlers. But in those situations, if he ever has to come out to bat at a time when the spinners are on, maybe that's the time that he slightly struggles. He's been working on that. But other than that, I see no change of Dinesh Karthik going out. So he'll be your keeper. In that sense, then bowling, the show yesterday I did with Sunny Gavaskar, which is up on Sports Today, you can check it out. Mr. Gavaskar was of the opinion that India needs to strengthen their batting, in which case bring in, let's say, a Deepak Hooda and leave one of the spinners out. That is something that they can look at. That is what they will need, which is a valid point. But again, going by what I'm getting to hear and what the team management is thinking and the direction they are taking, I do not see even that happening. So India may not risk going in with 5 bowlers. They may still go in with 6 bowlers. You know that strategy didn't pay off at the Asia Cup when they tried to do it. So most likely you will still see 6 bowlers. So on that front also, Deepak Hooda coming in, highly unlikely. Now, if they go in with 6 bowlers, the question is which are the 6 bowlers? Is there merit in dropping one spinner and maybe getting another fast bowler because you're playing in Perth? To that, I will like to draw your attention to the fact that, listen, yes, always Perth, fast bowlers, bounce, all of that, yes. But don't forget that spinners have also done very well here. Shadab did very well at the same stadium. And who was the game changer for Zimbabwe? It was Sikandar Raza, again a spinner. So I think the best strategy here is not to just, put people in boxes or just like fast bowlers, spin bowlers, what should we go for? I think the best strategy would be to go in with your best bowlers, the ones that you think could get you wickets, whether it's a fast bowler or a spinner, because I think both of them are going to get some purchase here on this Perth track, because it's a spongy kind of a wicket. Sometimes spinner also get a lot of purchase here. So if you were to ask me what I think is going to be the likely playing 11, it's going to be the same that we've seen in the 2 matches. Yes, there was a school of thought that bring in, let's say, a Yuzi Chahal for Ravichandran Ashwin. If that was to happen, I don't think it will happen in this game because the Indian team management has been continuously saying that we'll look at matchups, and if they're going to be looking at matchups, then off-spinner versus South Africa makes sense because they've got multiple left-handers, good left-handed batsmen at that. So Ashwin then most likely will play. Then we also heard from the team management saying that he brings a bit of cushion for batting. So all that put in place, Ashwin is also going to play. Then can Akshar be that guy who goes out, someone else comes in? I doubt that will happen again because Akshar has himself said that the team management has sat him down and told him that we may even push you higher up the order considering he's the only left-handed batsman. So let's say if you were to bring Harshal for Akshar, yes, okay, bowling wise they may be equal, but batting wise, is Harshal as good he's a good batsman, Harshal, but is he as good or reliable a batsman than Akshar Patel? I think the answer to that is no. So all things taken into account, all combination matchups taken into account, I do not see any changes in the Indian 11. So you're going to see the team that played against Pakistan and then played against Netherlands as well. One advantage India will have is that they are going to be playing second on the pitch. So they will be the match earlier, that is Pakistan, Netherlands are going to play, and on the same pitch India is going to play. So if they have any doubt about one or two players here and there, I think they can watch that Pakistan Netherlands game, and then after that take a call whether they really need to drop a spinner or bring in an extra batsman or bring in an extra fast bowler. Those calls can be taken, but as things stand right now, I see no change in India's playing 11. So that was the update as far as the playing conditions are concerned. What would be the likely 11 that India is going to go in with? Watch out for Virat Kohli. He's nearing a record. I think he's some 20-30 runs short of Mahela Jayawardene's record of most runs in a T20 World Cup. I think he's going to go past that today. He's been in the man in form, and I think in a game versus South Africa, I think he's once again going to be the crucial guy. If you had to push me as to pick a winner, most people, most pundits, even Sunny Gavaskar yesterday, all have given India that slight edge. But if you were to ask me, I think it's a very even contest, very close contest, and it'll be very tough for me to pick one team. But if you really push me to it, I'll give that slight marginal advantage to South Africa. I know in recent past, these two teams have played a lot of T20Is. India have the edge. The last series that they played, this same Indian team beat this same South African team. But I think in different conditions, these are different conditions from India. And here I think South Africa may get that slight advantage that India was getting while playing at home. The other thing is I'm liking South Africa's approach here. Even that game against Zimbabwe got washed out. Even in that game versus Bangladesh, yes, weaker team, lesser team, but their approach of all-out attack in batting and the firepower that they have in batting, their bowling was always good. The firepower now that they have in their batting, I think they're going to be very tough customers for the Indian team. So I know the whole of Pakistan is also praying for an India win because that will help them. But I'm just looking at the entire scenario and looking at the South African team. I think in these conditions and the way that they are playing their cricket, I'll give them slight edge, 55-45 in favor of South Africa, 51-49, whatever, but a slight edge to South Africa. The man in form there is Riley Russo. 2 back-to-back hundreds he's got in T20s. One came against India, then one against Bangladesh in the last game. So he's the guy to watch out for. Tremendous form if you get him early. For India, as I said, I think Virat Kohli once again is going to be crucial. I've got a question here. Please tell us about the crowd. Well, I'll tell you what. It's packed. It's sold out, the Optus Stadium. It's a big stadium. It takes in a lot of people, and it has been sold out. People I've met yesterday, people have traveled from the US, Canada, India, different parts of Australia, from Adelaide, from Sydney, from Melbourne. All of them have come for this game. So the kind of crowd that you will see at the stadium would be similar to a packed house that we saw against Pakistan. It is indeed a big game. So those are the updates. If you've joined us late, all the weather updates, pitch playing conditions, India's likely playing 11, all of that I've explained earlier in the video. So do check that out. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today. We keep bringing you all the updates. Next update we'll bring you from the stadium. Nazmul Hussain is saying South Africa is overrated. I think they're not overrated. I think they shoot themselves in the foot. They panic on situation. But in terms of ability-wise, I don't think that they're overrated. I think they are a gun team. But their problem is, one weakness is Temba Bavuma at the top. But he's the captain, so he plays. But other than that, they make crucial errors in team selections and some errors in bowling changes and things like that. So they shoot themselves in the foot. But to say that they are overrated, I wouldn't agree. Good morning to you also, KD Rajput. Kushal is saying Marco is playing or not. He could well be playing. Looking at India's record against left-arm pacers and that too tall, fast pacers, he could be playing. But one thing that everyone has to be careful about, even South African players, even Indian fast bowlers, that you shouldn't get excited with the extra bounce here in Perth. And that's a mistake. And that's a mistake that Pakistan made in the game versus Zimbabwe. Pakistan bowlers, I think, bowled a bit too full, and that didn't work for them. The best length here at Perth is that hard length. You got to hit the hard length, which is just short of good length. That's the perfect length. Zimbabwe bowlers did that. They got purchased. So I think South Africa said that in the press conference yesterday. They're not going to get excited looking at the conditions. I'm sure Indian management is going to talk about this as well. So that you have to look at. Pradeep, good morning to you as well, joining us from Canada. So I think that is something teams have to be wary about. Don't get too excited looking at that extra bounce. So yeah, that's how I think. Who do you think will be the most dangerous? Somebody asked. I already said. I think it's going to be Riley Russo. Soumya is saying Marco Jansen can be X factor. Yes, Marco was bowling yesterday in the nets, and I was observing him. First, he started very gingerly, casually with just two-step run up. In those two-step, also because of his height, 6 feet 8, and by the time the ball comes from his hand, so more than 7 feet comes down. He just gets that bounce because of his height, and that can be crucial. If you've seen Indian batsmen, how have they gotten out? Mostly, is that rising ball. The ball that aims at your not a bouncer, but that rising ball, hard length. It comes here because it's tough to get shots here. We've seen, the players try that uppercut or try to cut that ball. It's very tough when it rises here. Hardik Pandya has succumbed to it. Surya Kumar Yadav has succumbed to it. Virat finds a way just to defend it, but scoring off it is very tough. So I think that those lengths South Africa is going to target. Kushal is asking Shamsi or Marco, who do you think will trouble? See, Shamsi has a great record in T20s, but not against India. Whenever he's played against India, Indians have dominated. So if I was the South African team, if I had to choose between Shamsi and Marco Jansen any day. So there is a no contest there. I know Shamsi does well in T20s. That's his preferred format against other teams, not so much against India. So Marco Jansen would be the guy. Kagiso Rabada didn't train yesterday. South Africa would be hoping that there's no niggle and he was just resting. But they would need him. Anrik Nokia, Lungi Ngidi was bowling, but his leg was heavily taped. So wasn't bowling full tilt in practice. I don't know whether he will play. But Marco Jansen, Anrik Nokia, and Kagiso Rabada, I think 3 pacers you're going to go with. If you go with a spinner, I would prefer Keshav Maharaj. I was watching him in the nets yesterday. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Dhyan Taneja is saying Ashwin will be man of the match. Could be, many left-handers. I pointed that out. Love Rami, good morning to you as well. Yes, clear sky. Halloween as well today. So, yep. For the moment, as I said, signing off. All the updates slightly earlier in the video, I've explained in detail the weather, pitch conditions, what India is going to go in with their playing 11. If you join me late, just check out the video from the start. For the moment, Nikhil Naz signing off from Perth. Next, I'll see you with an update from the Optus Stadium. Meanwhile, press the bell icon. Don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today. Bye.